Maybe Twitter will get us something.
No mas.
Alright, cool. In case anyone wanted to watch this, it's pretty good.
I really like the new Gallios like FX.
Quirky ones.
I don't think that's the issue he's having, but
Now that'll
hopefully it
bring up
helps him.
his win rate a lot.
This for sure.
Guaranteed.
If anything, it'll bring it down because it'll make his skills easier to dodge.
That's true.
You guys referring to something on the channel, Twit, whatever.
Oh yeah. So right now we have 9 people. We need one more for Bronze Bootcamp Andrew. Usually we try not to start closer to the game for like VOD purposes, but hopefully this will help us.
You're showing whale game 1v1 by Pineapple. I love it.
Dude, did I show you this bard ult? I posted it in the chat. Dude, that's so crazy. There's so many bard mains in Diamond with like names like Meme Stank 0, fucking Bard Main 420, and they're all pretty good at them though.
I'll let you know that Bardener has been created.
Bardener?
Bardener 99.
Mm-hmm.
Guessing that's your Smurf.
Yeah, Extinct made it.
Extinct is here?
Yeah, the new Nautilus like effects. I'm happy about those.
It's sad that Cinderhulk is as good as it is, but Nautilus isn't like a crazy viable champ. I mean, in the jungle.
Yeah.
He's not bad. I think he's serviceable. I think every jungler is viable until you get to the point where people are like good at ganking. Because that's where like bad champions get abused is the early game. Everything can farm up and hit level thresholds about the same. If you play people who can gank, you get fucked though. But that's not for a long time. Let's keep it easy for him, Phil. Easy peasy.
Right.
Tier plat 5 or is that his 3s?
Pretty sure Tyria got plat 5.
No, I think it's 33. Yeah, it's 33.
Hey, Brom buffs.
Buffs, that's good. Q is actually what I'd like to see buffed on him too, because I'd make his landing phase not so abysmal. Alright, one more for Bronze Bootcamp. Come on, guys. Out there in Streamland.
Please.
Alright, here.
It's okay, guys. I can join. Right.
Dark Knight, I just opened it up to S4. You might want to get out. Lee Shock is playing Trundle.
You want me to jump out so you can invite someone up?
There we go.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen this guy play before. He's no Smurf.
Alright.
Okay.
The two unranked people there are like my real life friends, and they're not Smurfs either. Forvericious and Farajan, you know how it pronounces it. I just call him Chris.
Or Galio and Jackson's coming. And a Lux buff.
Yeah, the E thing, like, I don't know. I think it's March.
I really like it. I think it's gonna be like more substantial than people like think it is.
If you spam DI hard enough, it doesn't matter a ton. I think it helps every lux below, like, I don't know, a certain threshold. Can I join too? Prolock K B4 C4. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but we'll have a game 2 and a game 3 after this. Unfortunately, this game is filled. Either hang around in chat or hang around in the T-Force channel, and we'll get you into the next game. This is game 1 of Bronze Boot Camp. Every noon, that doesn't make sense. Every 12 p.m. noon, Saturday Eastern time. It's for players silver 5 and below to receive feedback on their gameplay and improve and climb through the ranks. We also have Battle Arena Thursday 7 p.m. Eastern time. Same concept, gold 1 and below, so a little more open pool for some higher elo players if you're too high to get into this game, but you're out there in Streamland anyway. We also have 4 shows, part of the Trinity Force Network: Oslo, LCS Rundown, T-Force Proper, and Forwards Podcast. All pretty useful. I would check them out. And the website to check all that out is... Whoa, let me pull it up on stream for you guys. TrinityForceNetwork.com. It looks kind of like this. We have a Battle Arena tab. If you missed any of that, we have a Community tab. It's all pretty good stuff. Alright, on to picking bands. I don't really like Heimerdinger. I think the rest of them are reasonable.
Yeah, you don't really see Heimerdinger that much for it to be a ban-worthy champion.
I can see though, like in lower levels of play, why he's kind of we don't want to deal with him.
But do you ever see him?
Hell no. But at the times I do see him, people are usually having issues with him.
Like, if his take rate is ever increased by at least 10%, I will start banning him myself. But until then, nah.
Yes. And Keyboard Cat's picking some Jungle Vladimir. Kappa.
Hey, I personally think you could totally ban Heimer if Nunu, Cho'Gath, Lux, Xerath, Biggs, and some other long-range champion were removed from the game.
Ferris, you just one-shot his turrets with arrow. Alright, so first pick Vlad. That's not bad. It flexes mid-top. But Tsunamic, Hardlock, Shen. Shen's pretty reasonable in most lanes. Even the lanes he loses, he has enough map pressure to do well.
Yeah.
I think the buffs helped him quite a bit.
I personally just think Shen is like a Garen or Cho'Gath of top lane. Like, you don't necessarily lose any lanes.
Yeah, but Garen and Cho win lanes. Shen doesn't really win any lanes. I mean, he can kind of like scrape out CS leads, but he's not going to solo kill you unless you misplay really hard. Garen and Cho can kind of do that if they hit Rupture. I don't know. If you get solo killed by Garen, you're kind of bad too. You know how much damage he's going to do, and he doesn't have a gap closer. I guess you could argue Flash, but
Flash silence into ult.
Mm-hmm. And for all you bronzies out there, either watching this or in the game, if you're out there in Streamland, we still need a bronze support for the tournament tonight. So add Frown Power in game. His name looks like this. He has a Team Liquid icon because he's a Team Liquid fanboy for God knows what reason. But,
Should have just called him bad.
I'm gonna pick Jace Jarvan. God damn it.
Hoping to see some Darius, but oh well. Yeah.
I just have to remind them not to troll. Alright. So, Ghost Ignite. Vlad might change his spells, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. I love that Brandis. Yasuo pick's kind of iffy. Yasuo does okay in Vlad lane, but you don't know if you're going to get Vlad lane or not.
from what I see, like successful Yasuos usually have a team wrapped around them rather than just picking Yasuo. That's just from personal experience.
Yeah, whoever's supporting a purple team, I would like to see maybe an Alistar just to synergize well with Yasuo.
We'll see though.
Yeah. Plus they have a Kog'Maw.
I think one of the things I've seen a lot anytime I do play in low elo is people bait themselves into picking for team comp really hard, and then like your lanes just lose because you're playing champions you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable with Alistar and you have Yasuo, it's a pretty good pick. But if you've only played Alistar twice, I wouldn't go for it.
Thresh is a nice pick too. So is Nami.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of good picks. You could play support Malphite. I saw it on the LCS.
Losing the LCS.
Is that a jungle Taric? Because if that's a jungle, if that's a support Taric with Smite, I'm gonna cry. I've been seeing Smite on supports as of late. I don't understand why.
But hopefully he changes it.
I'm sure he will.
Also support teleport Smite. That was weird.
Darius Fiora. No, I think Darius does pretty well in Fiora. He's also doesn't know that he's playing Shen top, so we'll see. I'm not gonna talk. I don't know. Stalker's kind of taught us all an important lesson about not talking about summoner spells until they're actually locked in.
Running Ghost Clairvoyance.
Yeah, some interesting stuff. Picks are, I don't know. I think in the past we've stressed picks a lot, but people in solo queue kind of play whatever for a long time, probably until you hit like mid masters. So if it's something you're comfortable with, I'm trying not to drill people as much as we have. Leona could be interesting. That being said, bot lane is the one lane where picking for lane is a little more important than the other lanes. If you lose lane, you lose for 2 people, and if you win for 2. Bot lane's really matchup dependent. Splatted 448. I'm sorry. If you'd like to get into the next game, hang around and stream, or hop into T-Force chat, and as long as you're silver 5 and below, we can get you in.
Yeah, I really like the Leona pick, just because their team really needed an engaged champion. Really bad. Luckily, Leona fits that perfectly.
Yeah, she does. Leona Cog's an awkward lane, but we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so lanes. Vladimir into Yasuo. Yasuo can outplay it. If he doesn't outplay it, he kind of loses War of Attrition. Vlad's summoner spells, you kind of know you're playing Yasuo here, because they have Fiora, Shen, and Yasuo's the only one that can really mid lane. Ghost isn't very useful against Yasuo. It's not very useful against Shen either, because you can't Ghost a taunt. I'd like to see like Flash Ghost, or Flash Ignite, or Flash Heal. But like Ignite Ghost kind of seems like the worst possible combination of those summoner spells.
Yeah, I thought it was really greedy.
Taric, you're playing Yasuo. I know you want Ignite to win lane, but you're playing.
But you're not gonna win lane per se in that matchup. You're generally not gonna win lane.
Well,
you're playing Yasuo Fiora. Like you really need to be able to exhaust.
Yeah, generally when they have melee carries, exhaust is crucial, so they don't get to your backline. Try to kill them.
Yasuo is easy. You can just exhaust like middle, and it kills the damage.
Yeah. Darius versus Shen. Darius should be able to easily win lane versus Shen. I would like to see Fiora help out Shen as much as possible, since he doesn't have any escapes.
I'll talk about why that lane's bad. The Darius just has a lot more trade potential than Shen. And I think a lot of times we just say a person wins a lane, and part of League is winning lanes you shouldn't win. So is Shen here? What you'd want to look for in the Darius matchup, and anybody who plays Darius in lane, look for him to use Q. When he uses Q, you can look for favorable trades. If Darius has Q up, though, you really need to be careful.
Yeah, if Darius doesn't get a kill before he gets Sunfire Cape by Shen, he should be generally good then, but Darius's early presence is super strong. So you want to play it really safe.
Alright, so jungle matchup. Jarvan just wants to gank a lot early. Fiora can kind of scale, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, it's easy to stay even on levels. And if staying even on levels is the only thing that mattered, you would just play whatever champion you needed for your team in the jungle, but it isn't. And Fiora is not a great ganker, and Jarvan is. Looking at his team, he kind of wants to look at gank assist. You don't have a lot mid lane with Vlad, so unless Yasuo is playing really aggressive, you're not going to look there. Bot, you have Taric, and you have a Leona lane, so if Leona engages, it's pretty free kill, and if Taric gets a good stun, you're probably at least going to get flash. In top, you have Darius pull, so kind of just when you go into a game as a jungler, you really need to be thinking in champ select about like gank assist and like what lanes have escapes.
For bot lane, their goal is really gonna be to pop bot lane flash, at least for blue team. If they can completely remove flash by around the 7-minute mark and Jarvan goes down there, both of them are dead.
The one thing Jarvan has to be careful for this game with flash popping is Shen at 7. Shen will have ultimate by then. Whale, I've been in Korea for pre-tournament boot camp.
I love it.
Getting coached by Fager himself.
Yeah. Whale X Baba. That's my favorite account.
Who
on
made
Reddit.
that account? That's hilarious.
Yeah, is that Baba or is it Whale? Or is it somebody mocking them, like Stalker?
I would put it more on Stalker.
I bet it's Bao.
Oh, wow, someone plays a lot of Fiora.
It's not me. And making sure we don't keep you guys out of the loop. We're talking about an account. It's, I don't know, trolling some interesting / funny stuff on the T-Force Reddit. If you want to see what Whale X Bao Bao is up to, check out Reddit / r T-Force Network. Loading screen, fun stuff. One of my fans, I guess. Baba won't me cry. Should be an interesting game. The only worry I have is red team's really low on magic damage. And blue team has Taric. I think we kind of missed that. But Taric provides, and Taric and Jarvan. Alright, so Taric and Jarvan provide a lot of armor to their team. And they're playing against a full AD team. So, wow. Alright.
Isn't like Kog'Maw damage like evenly split in like magic and physical?
Yeah.
Not AD carry.
Alright.
It depends, like, if you're bad at Kog'Maw AD carry and you're using mostly spells, then it's close. But if you're better and you're auto-attacking as much as you should be, 700 range. Especially after you finish Bork and Trinity. Like, Sheen proc is physical, Bork Shred is physical. His auto-attack is physical. He does some magic, but not enough. The other team has so much armor too. Taric Jarvan, what the fuck? That's crazy.
It's gonna be really easy for them to reach the back line. That's gonna be the biggest issue that red team's gonna be facing.
Oh, J4 doesn't provide armor anymore? I thought he just didn't provide armor to himself. I thought his flag provided it to his team.
I think it might only provide armor to himself now.
No, it's only attack speed now. Wow.
Oh.
Rip.
Alright.
They did buff his base armor in response to it, I believe. But yeah.
Thought that was for his team though? No. Alright. He also, somebody in chat wants to know about runes and build path. Are people still going crit or not on Yasuo? I'm not entirely sure.
Let me find
You would-
out.
You would think
Alright,
that
we're sending someone to pro builds. We'll see you in
Yeah.
a few minutes, Will.
an interesting start here.
I've been playing a little bit of Zed, but not Yasuo. And Riven. Riven's fun. Let's look at runes. Shen, pretty standard. I don't like the 7 AP. I think getting those points in offense is kind of pointless. Fiora, Cog, Leona. Leona is 15 AP, which isn't something you want on a Leona page either. And rest of the runes look pretty standard. How many games are we playing today? We're playing 3 games. Splatted 4-8. We still need people for games 2 and 3, so stick around.
Yeah, seems like the general rune page that most pros tend to go is 5% crit, then MR blues, health per level, yellows, and then attack speed quints.
Alright. What are reds? Or red
Critical
crit.
chance and then some attack damage.
Alright, and I've been seeing a lot of top Yasuo, especially in solo queue, and you'd pretty much run that page, but you'd run it with armor yellows instead. And
Yeah.
maybe not magic resist blues if it's not an MR matchup. Attack speed blues might be worth it. Shen, no, that's not what you run on Shen, Fran. I'm sorry. Taken from Marin. You may have ran that one game, but I don't think that's standard. I could see Shen doing well with like 5-25-0 or 5-24-1 or 0-30-0 depending on matchup. And we have a troller in the chat if somebody wants to ban. What do you think of Cinderhulk versus Warrior on J4 jungle? I think if you snowball hard early, Warrior's good. And I think regardless of what you build, Jarvan kind of serves the same function late game. But they're both good. It depends. Just look at what your team needs.
Yeah, you have to remember a lot of Jarvan's damage doesn't come from scaling. It comes just the fact that he has so much innate damage in his kit.
Mm-hmm.
Passive Q. His arena of death.
Whoa, Demon Praise. Alright, so a couple mistakes there. As Vladimir, you don't want to pool in a trade where they're going to be on top of you again, because you're essentially just losing health and letting their cooldowns come up again. The exception would be if you could finish them with QE or something, but you couldn't there. Yasuo, you just hit third Q. I think if I were Yasuo, I would have flash autoed and then E'd out. He still had E and a few creeps there. But just look at your team. I think the biggest mistake is people buy for, like, I don't know, if you're doing really well in Jarvan, you'll say, oh, I'm fed, I have to get Warriors. But, it doesn't matter if you're fed. If the game becomes close again and you have Warriors and a squishy team, you're screwed. So, just think about what your team needs above anything else. Jarvan this game, he could go either. This is actually a toss-up.
It's gonna come down to like how well Darius does and if he's gonna go full damage or not.
Up until the dive, I think it looked good. Yeah, it did. The thing I said for Yasuo is I wanted him to flash auto and E out, and that was kind of the dive.
Like Leona really needs to, like, in my opinion at least, go in, trade, and just walk out instead of trying to dance around in front of them. Because that way Ezreal's just gonna get a bunch of free poke.
You don't want to play with the frozen lane against Ezreal. Against Ezreal, like, if you have a lane snowballing, just push in the tower. Ezreal is one of his weaknesses is wave clear, and putting him in a tower is good. I don't say that against a lot of AD carries either.
He has issues
Whoa.
farming without basically destroying his mana pool. So
Destroying
I can
his
understand why
health
you say
pool.
that. And mana.
No, I meant right there.
And
He destroyed his health pool.
Oh, right
He just
there.
tanked out the whole wave. Alright, so as Ezreal, you really want to practice tower CS so stuff like that doesn't happen. You shouldn't if you tank out the full wave within range of the other support, just expect that to happen pretty consistently.
Make like this sounds really. I don't know how to word this better, but make your support do it, especially if it's a Tarek.
Yeah. And Alta has a solo queue, your support can't. So, like, just practice tower CS. Ezra's one of the better champs for doing it. His E and Q are pretty nice. You need the mana pool too. And if you are going to tank a wave, just make sure you're not where the Leona can Zenith blade you. Jarvan's rising pretty hard. He's taking the super secret advice I gave him. So, Jarvan went Trailblazer, Fiora went Stalkers, Pickaxe. So as far as Fiora is concerned, generally, this is a Tiamat build. If you go Tiamat build, on any champ besides Shaco, and even Shaco, you're going Trailblazer. It's too hard to not have a jungle item, not have Trailblazer or Warrior. But like some champs do skip Warrior for a while, but those champs go Trailblazer. So like chilling into Tiamat's not something you want to build.
If you're trying to buy expensive items, you go Trailblazer. That's the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm. It's just this is hard to farm with what she has here.
I get it.
And Fiora needs to farm. Ooh. Does Darius scale better into late game with the minor changes into he scales better than he did before, but he's still not a good late game champion. All of his problems are still there. Alright, so Shen lost ult there, that's not good. Is he pooling for wave clear? Vladimir? I hope not. Generally, you don't pool for wave clear. That's pretty obnoxious.
The damage on your pool is actually like really low, and to use it, it costs a percentage of your health pool, which I think it's like 30% of your current health.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to do, and the amount, I think you only get 30% of the damage you deal back, so that exchange isn't really worth it.
The Cog Ezreal lane's really hard if Kog'Maw doesn't get stunned here. Kog'Maw just puts out a lot more damage than Ezreal. But Tarek is broken. So as Cog, once your W drops, you really want to stop that trade. You turn it into an extended trade for no reason and really got screwed by it. Oh, Tarek. Alright. Yeah, really, if you're playing Tarek, you need to respect that if you're below 30% health, they can kill you. How much armor does Tarek have?
80.
80. I actually looked this up the other day. The standard Tarek page I see is you run armor on every rune and then magic resist boost and a AP damage lane. Or you can also run health yellows in an AP damage lane. But he does run armor quints, armor yellows most of the time. If you're playing something like Graves Thresh, you could probably skip magic resist. Whoa.
The skink up top.
Mm-hmm. It is good by Yasuo to recognize that he's getting baited. And a good flash. 36 armor, get the fuck out. Alright. So Darius is 81 CS. The CS across the board is pretty low, and you'll notice people finishing their item benchmarks a little slower than they need to. This is a pretty big deal, and I don't know, like, if I can't even talk to it. If people want to get out of bronze, like the first thing you want to practice is CS.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was bad.
Like my way of advice is it's not hard to get into gold. You just have to be good at one thing, which is whether it's like decision making, CS, mechanics. Find your little niche thing and get better at it.
Decision making is weird because it matters like quite a bit in gold and plat because you're at the point where people aren't making the right decisions, but they'll listen to you.
Past gold, I think you have to master, like not master, but get better at like more than one thing.
In diamond, decision making doesn't matter anymore because like when somebody dies bot lane, everybody just walks dragon together. Nobody says anything. You're not making decisions anymore. You're just doing the correct play. You can also learn DST from Sky Williams. Guy can talk to me and he gets diamond. So Vlad's going QE. We'll look at skill maxes here. Pretty standard besides the Jarvan not maxing flag. Although I think some Jarvan jungles max Q. Oh, dunk. Alright, so Jarvan had enough damage to kill him there. He should be aware of how much damage he deals. If you're going to go the damage Jarvan and you get somebody to half health without ultimate, like just finish them off. Learn to ward this. There's no like one actual ticket. Just I don't know. Your general level of play, all things combined, needs to hit a certain level. Some things matter more than others, but you just need to raise the level of those things. I don't know. It's very broad, but it really is very broad. Everybody's I don't know. Low elo's like Prism. Everybody's there for a different reason.
And Darius has yet to kill Shen in lane.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to see him do is push up top and then roam mid lane to try to get a pick off of Yasuo, since they are playing really aggressive and fighting non-stop mid lane.
Mm-hmm. So Shen's looking to ult. Darius here needs to be pinging out. There's a fight bot. Shen could be ulting. He didn't, but... And Jarvan got a sweeper. That's good. Neither... Tarek, when you upgrade Sightstone, you want to grab sweeper. Leona probably should be upgrading Sightstone before Targans. We've gone over this with another Leona, I think either BA or Bronze Bootcamp. Leona needs to upgrade Sightstone more than almost any other champion because of how hard she can get camped. Leona, once you engage, you engage. And playing Leona without wards is suicide. Red team's taking dragon. That's a decent call. The issue with this is wow, Yasuo upgraded sweeper. But nobody here has a sweeper and they couldn't sweep dragon and they're doing this entire thing on a ward. Ezra should be ultimating. He could like kill Fiora. So a map awareness by Ezra. His ult's about 100 mana. And he could just ultimate that at least. Probably go up there and actually contest it if he wanted to.
Like we've touched on this multiple times, but once you get your Sightstone, you want to get a sweeper right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep in mind.
Or Jarvan. He isn't a sweeper. This comes down to smiting raptors more often. Yeah, the jungler are upping around with Raptor and they're just walking on wards and not getting anything done.
Jarvan should also have been aware that they pushed up the lane.
Mm-hmm. It's not a bad spot to be for a counter gank because they are pushed. It's just like if you're on a ward, you're on a ward.
Jarvan's trying to force everything a bit, and he really needs to kind of just find whether he's got gank or not, and if not, keep sitting in his jungle.
I don't want to sound like a scrub, but I feel like I'm a gold player. I'm sitting around silver 3. My plat friends saying good enough. Could it be that silvers are just better now? I mean, it comes down to the friend that your friends are your friends, and they could possibly have a biased opinion. As much as I hate to say it, and Elo is like the one non-biased indicator of skill because I mean it's a system run by numbers. Also, it could be something simple holding you back, like not playing enough games and other stuff. So just keep at it.
Nice roam by Darius.
That was good.
Derek
Derek, yeah.
responded to it in an intelligent manner and actually paid attention to other things going on the map.
Good job, Savage Sparkles.
Yeah, that's something you don't generally see in lower levels is the support roaming to other lanes. That's like the key thing that finds
So
a
you
good
carry a
support.
support.
Yeah.
Don't get Sightstone, get more combat stats so you can 2v3. I wouldn't ever recommend that. If you're actually going to 2v3, it'd be better to have a ward, so at least you know how to play it when the jungler's coming in, as opposed to being like flanked like a Vietnam.
Health is a combat stat.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Every little point of health matters.
Blaze.
I know personally, I've survived like team fights with 1 health before.
Mhm.
More often than not, I survived with like 8 health, and that 8 health came from like my masters or my runes.
Never mind. That guy said the whatchamacallit, Blade of the Ruin King on support, so I probably shouldn't have even responded to him. Why no top Tarek? He's outrageous. Top Tarek has quite a bit of issues. Not doing damage and getting ganked really easily are probably the 2 biggest ones. And
I think
horrendous wave clear.
there's a phenomenon called Shen syndrome where once you start playing Shen, like your map awareness just gets way better.
Mhm.
Just because you're actively trying to look for alt ganks.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing with Soraka ult.
I've said
Some
that in the
extent.
last few BAs and BBCs. A lot of these top
Oh.
laners have had issues with teleports, and I've recommended playing Shen. I think playing Shen fixes a lot of teleport issues.
Oh yeah.
Playing TF fixed a lot of mine. Or it just taught me the importance of camping bot lane. Great face. So another trade here. Interesting. But I probably shouldn't be staying. They covered that on the podcast. At 150 games, you're 99% likely to be at your real rank. So, a little less than 250. I have a minor in statistics too, and I ran the data, and I think it's like a 99.02% confidence interval at 150 games. So, like what Riot said actually checked out. So, about 150 games. But, like, you can also improve over the 150, so it could be incorrect in that sense. So it's hard to say.
Many variables, in my opinion, for it to be like completely calculated correctly, but
Yeah.
Not to mention you're also inputting human emotion, which is an incalculable variable.
So builds. Fiora, we touched on hers a bit, but she got totem. Oh, I think I've seen this Fiora before. Alright, so Mobies on Fiora. If you're getting them around 20 minutes, they're pretty pointless. You're playing a team with Tarek, stun, Vladimir damage, just, I don't know, Mercury Chuds would be good here. They have quite a bit of AD, so ninjas would be good as well, but not Mobies at 20 minutes. Yasuo, same thing, except instead of Mobies, you got Swifties, but let's count how many slows they have. How many can you guys count? I count Vladimir Pool. Alright, so your Swifties are only good for Vladimir Pool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Darius have a slow?
And Darius W.
Alright, so
is a
Darius
slow.
W and Vlad Pool, but it's not an effective choice.
I agree, but I guess Yasuo also gets an extra benefit out of it, just due to the fact that it basically gets his what is it? His wind bar? I don't know what it is. Like it charges it up faster.
Oh, nice, mate.
It's a good fight. So blue team just has like Tarek and a ton of combat stats. I hate to say it, but that's kind of on Tsunomic not having TP or ultimate up for Dragon. Or it's on Tsunomic's team for fighting a dragon when he knows he can't be there. But what I would have liked to see is either Shen have cooldowns for dragon, or Shen relay to his team that he doesn't have cooldowns so they don't fight it. I think fighting a 4v5 is pretty bad there. I'm looking at vision. Blue team doesn't have a lot. Red team doesn't have a lot either. Kind of one of the issues we run into in BBC and BA. It's really, really important award. I know when I count at the end of this game, people in BA and BBC are getting better at totems. So I'm starting to grow you guys on green wards because you can't buy totem until level 9. I guarantee the green ward and pink ward games in this count are going to be abysmal.
Oh yeah, if Leona bought a pink ward before that dragon fight, Jarvan would have had no knowledge of when to smite and when to go in there.
Jeffy's higher than he should be. Jeffy's silver 5.
If you actually pay attention to like how that engagement went, if they would have been more organized and focused Jarvan would have died. Blue team wasn't in position to follow up anything because they didn't know Jarvan was gonna go in yet. So Tarek had to blow his flash over the wall simply to engage with him.
And that's the important thing about pings. You need to make sure your teammates understand who to focus, who not to. Like, I don't really see people ping all that often. Especially in lower legal.
Ping is good. That'll hurt my feelers.
Jarvan ult, yeah, there you go.
It's Tarek.
Rip Tsunomic.
I'll give it to Tarek. He really is making a lot of like good decisions and good roams and overall just playing really well.
And this is like, I don't know, a lot of times supports ask me, oh, my laner is really bad. Do I need to roam or do I not roam? Usually the answer is like, it's so risky to roam and staying in lane for EXP is important. And it's also important that like your bad player doesn't lose worse than they should. That being said, when lane phase is over, roaming is really, really, really effective. And I think Tarek is showing that.
Yep.
And it also depends on like with who you're roaming. Like you wouldn't roam with an Ezreal mid. You would definitely want to roam again with like a Morgana or an Annie, someone with some type of lockdown. So that you can chain that lockdown in order to actually get a kill, or someone that can all-in someone within that small window of opportunity.
Burst is good too, though. Like, if you have ult on an AP Ezreal, it's okay.
I have not seen an AP Ezreal in so long. Everyone loves the AD build.
Yeah. I roam on everything, man. But... Alright, so this is pretty iffy. What do you guys think happened today?
They just
Back
straight up fight while they saw a tower aggro for starting of the fight there.
Alright, so the biggest issue here is one, they fought on tower with poor wards. 2, they just had a fight in top lane. They hadn't recalled and bought their items, and Darius and Jarvan didn't have ult. And the combination of not having ultimates, not being ready to fight, and although they have, they don't even have a lead, but although they're pretty strong, they hadn't used any of that gold. Wow.
Also, their decisions were all different. 4 of them wanted to just take the turret and leave, and that was very evident by the fact that they took the turret and then they kind of poised in order to just disengage, while Darius ran in, tried to get a pick off, and just got blown up by 4 people. Or 5.
Alright, so Cog got his blade. He's pretty strong right now. Not having Skying is going to hurt him though. Skying is pretty important on Kog'Maw. I've even got it a few times. I've put Kog'Maw mid. Tarek, I will say, and for Leona, Mobies would probably be good here. On Tarek, you could even go ninjas since they're full AD, but I don't know, ninjas or mobies, you'd want to upgrade boots before you get frozen hard on a support. Support, your 3 core items are usually like upgraded boots, which most of the time is mobies, sightstone, and your GP10. That's if you want to make a custom thing set for support in most games, that's gonna be it.
I honestly would have said like your trinket. At least I personally think like you can generally delay GP perk 10 items while like the amount of control you get just from like either more wards or being able to destroy enemy vision is superior to your own item gain. But
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times I struggle to relay that point, especially in BBC, because people really want gold. So, but I don't upgrade my trinkets in most of the games I play, so I'm on the same boat.
But I do agree that like your boots, as a support, your boots are probably your most important item next to your sightstone because you're gonna be running either from lane to your lane or from your lane to other people's lanes. You are basically a second jungler.
And think of it too as a support. I don't know. You don't kill champions or like you win the map. Wow, these team fights, man. Really good Vlad.
As a support, for the most part, when you roam, you're there for the utility, not the damage. And utility doesn't matter if you're dead.
Yes, that's why I have issues with a lot of the support items they introduce because they won't put health on them, and it's frustrating. Argent, Banner, they'd be so good with health.
What I find frustrating just is that there's a lot of CDR and support items. So it's like, if I want, like, I don't know, let's say I'll lock it with Talisman of Ascension and Frozen Heart, it's like, okay, cool, I just capped myself. Now I can't get Mikhail's, I can't get this or that.
Salamance 33, we'll have a game 2 and a game 3. So if you want to hop in and you're under Silver 5, feel free. If you're above Silver 5, check out Battle Arenas Thursday, 7 p.m. We'll take care of you. Kappa. Alright.
Like, our team could get into this if they actually, like, decide to stay together and find a pick instead of either overstaying or people getting picked off one by one.
I've seen this in quite a few Battle Arena games. The Fiora keeps getting mobility and Fury at the same time, and pretty early into the game. Early mid-game, dropping 950 gold on the no combat stats is really rough. Really, really rough. So if you're gonna get Mobies, get them earlier. Probably don't get Fury before like the 20-minute mark, like I've seen you do twice. The Jarvan's farming out. He's got 14 assists.
And especially on Fiora, I don't think it's really necessary. You have 2 distance closers for the most part. Not including your ult.
When do I have to get out of bed? Yeah, and we have a new sign-up sheet for Battle Arena. That'll be on the Reddit in a day or 2, probably.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be what Bronze Bootcamp sign-up is going to look like in the near future as well. A little bit better than what we're doing now. Whoa.
I would like to say, Leona, like, make up your mind on what you're gonna buy. Like, I understand you had to switch halfway through, but you're put in a really awkward situation because of it.
It's good though. Her team could really use the locket against the Vladimir.
Yeah, right now red team just wants to keep on kiting blue team back because Darius is still bot side and they want Shen to try to take as much turrets as possible.
It was like blue team is like chasing really.
Oh, Fiora.
Oh.
Alright. Gonna watch this fight. We'll talk about it in a second. Wow. Alright.
Get the penta? Alright.
So we're gonna do an active check. After this team fight, you'll notice that the I guess only Yasuo missed Blade. That's not too bad. Vlad missed Glass too. Yeah, Vlad could have glassed and Yasuo could have bladed. Shen was top. there's a
Yeah.
delay to Shen. You really, I don't know. Even if you have a TP top, and you'll see this in a lot of games, somebody will be top and they'll say, oh, I have TP. TP still has a delay, and you can lose a fight before TP goes off. So you need to be really cognizant of that.
Also the fact that like Fiora, for some reason, tried to engage on the Darius when he's really strong, and then she didn't even use her ult.
Kappa. Alright, so the Ezreal and team fight, I was actually watching you a little bit, and you should, even though you did win that team fight and you cleaned up really hard, focus on getting your W onto your teammates if you have mana for it. Remember when to use and when not to use mana. Maramona, you're using it on the Scuttle right now, which isn't good. And just keep W up, try and keep passive at 5 stacks and keep auto attacking. As long as you're holding E, they can't do a lot to you on Ezreal. But pretty well played. Your Vladimir and Darius are doing really well. Yeah, Ezreal's going Blade here. I don't know how much I like Blade this game, but it's okay. On the Ezreal build, Blade is a little more damage than Bloodthirster, but it's a little less survivability, so you have to weigh both of those things.
Yeah, so that's like the second team fight where red team has lost. What sort of fight or pick should they be looking for here in this game?
I often say that the team that picks a fight is usually the team that wins a fight, and that's really what is happening in these games.
Yeah.
They really want to. I don't know. Like, Leona should be the one picking the engage. Tarek shouldn't be walking up to somebody and stunning them. Tarek's stun isn't bad, but Leona has better engage than Tarek.
Leona's playing scared. That's the huge issue. I haven't seen her engage a fight with an ultimate as like yet.
Mm-hmm. Bork, no HP tanks. Bork is still... Shen is an HP tank. Shen isn't really stacking armor. So I like the Bork here. Bork is just like a stronger 3 item power spike than BT. And his... I don't know. He's not super fed. I think the best thing he could do is make himself as strong as he can at 3 items, so as Darius and Vladimir can win the game now. Sometimes you just need to identify your team's win conditions, and his team can win right now. And if your team can win right now, even if you're behind, you don't want to build for late game. Hey, Hourglass. And good job by Darius. I talk about this a lot, but he actually did it, getting the Elixir of Iron.
Same with Vlad as well.
And Vlad. Oh, he got sorcery. Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Not the biggest fan of the Sunfire and Darius. Usually, if it's not your first item, you don't want to get Sunfire top lane.
Yeah.
What about IE?
It was his first item. He went Sunfire and then got Hydra.
Oh, so he just sat on the pickaxe and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, that's not the worst. IE for Ezreal, it's okay. Not having lifesteal is pretty rough because you will want to heal up after the Fiora ult and the residual damage from dealing with Leona and Cog, so I like a lifesteal item here. He also doesn't have a lot that scales with Infinity Edge at this point. Trinity Force doesn't have a ton of critical strike chance, so I think his item choices here were Blade, or the Ruin King, BT, or Last Whisper, and I like Blade the most. I think Blade into Last Whisper is the best build for Ezreal right here. It lets him be really strong at 3 items and be really strong at 4 items, and his team is already winning. You still do buy IE on Ezreal. I know his Q doesn't crit, but if you want to be good Ezreal, you have to auto attack a lot, so it's important. But right now, he doesn't need it. And blue team's doing better with vision. No, they're not really. I mean, they warded up the dragon and got it, which is good. Red team has a lot around Baron. We'll see if they actually use it. It's kind of awkward. Leon, I remember to upgrade your sweeper.
Like this is honestly gonna be like whoever has, for the most part, better vision and deals with the fact that they have better vision properly.
Mm-hmm. So this blue
Like-
team, what do you want to be looking at here? The Kog'Maw's out of... Whoa!
Nice.
And that's the type of engagement they kind of want.
Yeah, you don't really want to engage when Ezreal isn't with your team.
That
So-
and Kog'Maw's like beyond reach.
Yeah. I think if they had the damage, it was still a good engage. I think they really got screwed over by Zipping Man. So just do a head count.
Like if I get it, it was a blind pull, but they should have kind of tried to get away from the extra layer that was protecting Kog'Maw. Like they should have just kind of pulled away from that little area.
So, chat, I think Ezreal's about 80 carry in this meta. I think he's still fine if you're good at playing him. I don't think any 80 carry is that much better than another 80 carry. I don't know.
Currently, yeah, I have to agree. I personally don't think right now there's like a super crazy OP 80 carry.
No,
Like,
they dealt with
I
the
think-
Jinx problem.
Yeah, I feel like they all have their own little niches or like tools that help them in lane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Kallista's strong, but you'd pick her for objective control rather than, oh, this is gonna win me the lane.
Oh, no, you pick Kalista to win lane, dude.
Oh,
Kalista's
really?
crazy laner. Yeah.
I have not seen a good Kalista in a long time.
So Kalista, like one of the issues with Kalista, she kind of sucks if you fall behind. They nerfed her jump backwards, but they didn't nerf it forward. And she also, like, if you ever watch professional games where Kalista gets really fed but her team isn't, she has sustained damage, but if her team dies too quickly in front of her because her team is losing, she's iffy. I don't know. Kalista's like a win harder. So like you win lane on her, and if your team is winning, you win harder. And if it's even, you can win harder as long as you're doing well in Kalista, but Kalista's biggest weakness is she's like crap if your team's behind Kalista.
Also, knockbacks.
Alright. Are the
Thresh
only
deals
ones
with
you
her
see-
pretty well.
Tristana is stronger than Twitch and Vayne. If you want like an actual tier list, if you want me to put one out for you, like Ashe, Kalista, Jinx, Trist is probably my top 4. Trist
I would
is
say a good
strong.
Caitlyn, but that's just
Yes,
that's too
a
much
good
to ask
Caitlyn,
for, apparently.
but
Especially after her like armor pen buff on her headhunter.
as once told to me, there are no good Caitlyn's until Masters, and I firmly
agree.
believe in that statement. Oh, Sivir's up there too. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the champions. Victor Prime, she's good.
Even after her like wind down nerf, I think.
It's just a little bit of ult time, but like 4 to 6 seconds on her ult late game. Oftentimes, it wasn't the last 2 seconds that was really mattering. Her win rate's still fine, and she's still a fine champion.
And I will say this for the hope of all support kind, please, for the love of God, let people use their Targons.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get the item because we like dancing orbs, even though at first it was actually rather amusing.
And honestly, if a champion's really strong and they barely get nerfed, and you think they're out of meta, then you just kind of like letting yourself show how effective placebo buffs are and nerfs. The Sivir nerf really didn't do much. She's still like the same. It did a little bit, but pretty much I don't know. Every AD carry is viable unless you're playing AP Vayne. I see them all. I see good people playing them all.
Wait, so you agree AP Varus is totally legit?
Yes. Even Draven. Like I think Draven's the best AD carry, but I think he's hard.
That's,
No,
yeah.
I agree. I personally think he's the best solo queue AD carry because one kill can basically snowball him enough to win the game.
Ugh.
Ezreal, you should not have done that.
So red team, it looks like they listened to a degree. They started picking the engagements and they started winning. if you see your team getting caught a lot when you're playing support in solo queue, especially if you're playing somebody like Leona, one of the ways to prevent your team from getting caught is to pick fights. They can get caught in the middle of a team fight, but it's a lot harder. And that was a little bloodthirsty, but they should at least be able to get inhibitor off of this. Important note here, they should be hitting tab. If they hit tab, they'll see Ezreal and Taric coming up without home guards and Vlad coming up with home guards. So they'll know that this is about as much as they can get. I think they should be rotating bottom though and helping Fiora finish this.
Yeah. I really hope Vladimir isn't building Spirit Visage with that Kindle gem.
What do they have? Alright, so Visage on Vlad. I actually built it in solo queue the other day. I normally don't build it. I normally don't think it's a good item. If you're building double AP and you really need the Spectre's Cow because you're playing a dominant laner like Azir or Victor, you get it, and you get it by sitting on Spectres for a while. Not something you build late game when you don't need it in laning phase anymore, and it's not something you build against a full AD team.
You're essentially the entire damage for this blue team, since they're all stacking armor, and you're going to be pretty much doing true damage at this point with that Void Staff.
And Taric, don't build Sunfire Cape on support ever. It's a really stat inefficient item.
Agreed. I see it on Leona and Taric players all the time for some reason.
Mm-hmm. So Taric, you did a really good job roaming. You struggled to keep up vision. And red team's kind of camped out your jungle twice and gotten picks, which isn't good. So remember to make sure you ward throughout the whole game as a support. And for Taric's team, make sure you're warding as well. It's not only Taric's job, but you guys had 3 sweepers, so a lot of it's going to fall onto Taric. Good job by red team. Recognize that you need to pick some engages to come back this game.
Yeah, this should be game.
Pretty well played. Oh, last was Ferry also. We'll talk about that. And Heart out of Jarvan. Pick Olaf, laugh at Sigils. I don't even think Such is that OP anymore. I don't know. You guys playing a different solo queue.
I think she's strong, but not because of like, oh look, they haven't nerfed her. It's more like just the fact that she has that ultimate. It's the same with like how Mumu will always be strong in lower elos because of his ultimate.
Yeah. So we're gonna open up game. We're gonna start a lobby for the next game for anybody who's interested in playing game 2 or game 3. I know there's some people in Twitch chat. And while that lobby's getting started and filling up, we're gonna talk about what happened to this game and what you guys can do to improve your gameplay, because ultimately that's what BBC and Battle Arena are all about.
Yeah, I'll get the second lobby started.
Put me in, coach. As long as this link works, why is it not working? Does anybody else have it? Here, I'll try it again.
Have what?
The link. Alright.
No. Usually, you have to just refresh the page and it'll do it.
I did. It's still not working.
Okay, let's see. I keep clicking it. I'll let you know when it goes through.
Oh, that's not it. Oh, match history only shows like ranked now. It doesn't show custom games, rip.
Do you want me just to do it from here?
Here, we'll see if it comes up. Do you have another screen with it? Oh, no problem, Red Soar. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that both teams and all the individual players could have done better. So, here, I'll run down the players quickly. Ezreal, work on farming. As an AD carry, 1, you shouldn't be face tanking a wave in lane. That really hurt you. 2, you should be more comfortable with CS. Ezreal really wants to hit that 3 or 4 item power spike, and if you hit it 5 to 10 minutes late because you're not lasting enough, it can be brutal. Also, in team fights, make sure you're using your W effectively and just trying to hit targets with Q, hit targets with W. Really, it's not that difficult to keep your passive at 5 stacks and keep your auto attack damage high. And that's one of the best parts about Ezreal, but it's something you want to consciously think about. And I believe it's 5 or 6 seconds. So you just have to hit a spell every 5 or 6 seconds. And considering your W can hit allies or enemies, it's pretty free. Tarek, we talked about your item buys in the game. If you go back to about 20 minutes, we had a discussion about boots and support. The TLDR is you want to upgrade boots on support a little earlier. Also, look to get Sunfire earlier, and don't let up with the warding. Your team struggled at points just because you weren't getting... I mean, you guys were getting picked off in the jungle over and over again. See if the match loads. Nope. Jarvan, you want some effective health. I know they're all AD. I would have liked to see Randuin's. More ganks in the early game could have been useful as well. And understanding how much damage Jarvan can deal. If somebody's half health, they shouldn't be getting away from a Jarvan with ultimate. I think Jarvan and Darius. And yeah, honestly, Jarvan didn't need as many damage items as he had. If he had 2 armor items, the Kog'Maw would have suffered a lot more. Darius. I think he played pretty well most of the game. I think.
The CSing was really really well in lane.
I think he got punished pretty hard because you only had Sunfire and you didn't have like random and Stone Mail too. And Darius can be hard to play in the late game without like full tank. Vladimir. In lane, be careful when you pull. Pulling isn't that effective in a trade. You lose a lot of health to pull and you both get cooldowns again. Generally, if you're pulling in a straight up trade, you should be using it to dodge a skill shot. It's also really risky if you don't have wards in the jungle because you're turning yourself into fish food. Don't buy Spirit Visage into full AD comp. And if you're not getting Spirit Visage in lane, especially for the Spectre's Cal to deal with like an Azir or a Victor or something, generally you should be getting Abyssal if you really, really want Magic Resist. But that game, if you had more damage, your team may have done better. And the Spirit Visage didn't do much for you. Leona, I think you recognized what was going on. You started engaging for your team, which is pretty important. Your team can't get caught if you engage when 5 people are there. So, about as simple as that. You also did a really good job controlling Vision. You controlled Vision on Baron pretty well, and your team came back with 2 picks there. So, what could you have worked on? I think in the landing phase, you could have engaged a little bit more. And,
Playing too passively, and basically whenever you would completely whiff and engage, you would sit in front of the minion wave, get poked on by Ezreal by about half of your health, and then you'd walk away, and then you'd hide behind your AD carry for the rest of the laning phase.
Also, watch Kog'Maw. Sometimes as a support, if you're playing engaged support, you need to watch your AD carry's cooldowns. You really shouldn't be engaging if Kog'Maw's W is down. You really, really need to be careful of that. Same as, like, I don't know, any champion with a cooldown. If you see them use a cooldown, don't pick a 2v2. Kog'Maw, work on CS. Just both AD carries, the CS is pretty rough. And AD carry is, like, the most important role to be able to rise. What else did Kog'Maw do? I think Kog'Maw played pretty well outside of that. I didn't miss a lot else. Could play slightly more passive in team fights and just play between your W's and some of the ones mid-game where you're getting screwed by Darius and Jarvan. But it's hard to play against Jarvan as Kog'Maw. So, I don't know, I didn't see a lot for Kog. Did anybody else catch it?
Not really. He has to work on his orb walking when he's trying to like get away from people, but and he also has to be more reactive with his Blade of the Ruined King. There are a few times where basically Darius or Jarvan would just run up on him, and he wouldn't proc it. Yeah, you're gonna have to get on through the lobby. Yeah, and he could have dated them a lot better, but instead he kind of just got picked off.
Alright, we're gonna have someone who played in game 1 hop out for you, splatted. Yasuo. I didn't see a lot for Yasuo, did you?
Is Garmo new as well?
I'm not sure. We'll see. Do they all have the whole same icon, or is that a bug? That's a bug.
I will say that Fiora, she really needed to stop trying to either go for engages or try to poke. Because she would constantly, well, not constantly, but occasionally she would Q onto Darius or someone else, and then she would just get locked down and just instantly die without ulting, without anything. And that really led to a lot of one-sided fights between her and the enemy team.
Yasuo practice CSing in lane, same thing as most of you guys. But you should be getting green wards in laning phase if you're playing Yasuo, and the green wards and pink wards, I don't need the post-game statistics to say that you only get totem at level 9, so just generally people in this game should be buying a lot more greens and a lot more pinks. I know totem's awesome, but warding in this game is pretty poor. Outside of warding and CS, which is kind of like the baseline, know if you finish somebody, if you can finish somebody and you have flash on Yasuo, save a creep, flash it and get damaged. Or like when you died to Vladimir on tower, you could have flashed, used third Q on top of him and eat out. And what you did was kind of funky. But that's just Yasuo mechanics. Tsunamic, do a better job at pinging your team when you don't have ultimate or teleport. And there are a few times where you could have flash taunted, or you could have peeled a little bit better. I was talking to Palm. I think him and I are under the same agreement that in Shen, what you want to look for in a team fight is you can taunt front line or you can taunt mid line, and then you ult a carry, and then you taunt to peel for the carry. And like during the ult animation, after the taunt buffs, whatchamacallit, his taunt will be up again because his taunt has reduced cooldown at later ranks. So, it's just basic Shen team fighting and communicating with your team. CS was good, and you kind of got stuck with a hard lane against Darius. So we have somebody.
Either Rajan or Sunodic has to leave.
Alright, so KOTOR88. The password is T-Force and look in custom games.
Make sure you hit private games.
Alright. Here asks you. Alright. So KOTOR88, there you go. Oh, he's level 25. Are you
It's
level
fine.
Isn't he like level 30 in Europe though?
No, he's from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's level 30 in Australia, so.
Yeah, he's the Blitzcrank dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's the guy that like lands crazy blitz hooks with lag.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, don't
You guys
tell
get
the
really
enemy
cranky.
team that right now.
Wasn't he silver?
I don't know.
Alright.
Used to playing in houses. Good times. uh,
Okay. I thought you said silver 1. My memory is a little bit bad.
Alright.
let's get this baby rolling.
My rain is radio. Alright, let's go. If somebody wants to start game. Oh, stream will drop for about 15 seconds to cut for the VOD, so we'll see.